Hi, I'm Adam.
I'm Austin.
And I'm Chris.
And you're watching Flack. And apparently, because the U.S. is in an economic slump, citizens in America are seeking dual citizenship in EU countries. Let me read this first paragraph for you. For millions of Americans who braved the Atlantic Ocean for a glimpse of the Statue of Liberty and dreams of a lavish life, there was little thought of ever immigrating back. Yet for a new generation of Americans of European descent, the old country is becoming a new country full of promise and opportunity. The creation of the European Union and its thriving economy is very appealing to Americans in the present global economy. They say that they can, with a EU passport, live and work in 27 different countries. With an American passport, they can live and work in one country.
And get shot in a whole bunch of others.
So the EU, the EU gets you. You can get a passport from the EU. That
Well, the European Union now is essentially a new state. It's a super
country
state.
with state countries in it.
And what these people don't realize, in my opinion, is that when you do something like that, pretty soon Germany, France, England, they're all going to start. Actually,
not England.
England's not in the EU, but they're fighting for it, even though the people don't want in it. But then that's another issue to bring up here. But all these countries are going to start looking like the same country. I mean, at some point, we're going to lose the divergence.
I'm going to go ahead and just
cultural
disagree with you fairly strongly there, actually.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Well, they have one economy now. They have one. They have the euro replacing local currencies, and more than ever now, the European countries, in my opinion, are starting to look more similar, and people are going back and forth between the countries and living in two or three of the countries, having homes in different countries and so forth.
I don't think
there's any
new.
way. Definitely. Post World War II, I mean, things have changed so much dramatically.
Oh yeah,
in Europe,
post World War II. But I mean, EU. How old is that now?
Well, the EU's been around for 50 years. It was under several different names, but it wasn't launched until the early 90s as the European Union. And they tried to sell it as though it was something new, when in reality, they just had a 50-year anniversary for the EU just this last year. And it's been around for a while, and they've been pushing it ever since.
It's the currency thing was the big hurdle that gave it a lot of notability in the early 90s.
Yes, it did. But more and more, the face of Europe is starting to look. These countries are starting to look more and more the same.
It's homogenizing.
It's homogenizing.
As long as they have separate languages. I mean,
I don't know how long that's going to last. English, they all speak English. They don't.
Well, and this is what I was going to argue with, though, because I mean, I have known people from France. I had friends that were over in Europe back in junior high, and I guess this was in the early 90s. So if that 50-year argument stands, and I guess kind of what I'm saying here is blown to smithereens, nevertheless, I mean, people that live in Europe speak multiple languages.
Yeah.
It's really common. And people live in multiple places or have lived in multiple places. I mean, none of that is new. If they spoke a different language down in Oregon, I would know it.
Right.
Because I was in Oregon all the time as a kid. If they spoke
this is
one
new.
of them,
After World War II, actually after World War I, we have League of Nations, United Nations. We have a move towards unified union, localized governments, and global governance and so forth. When that happens, the more and more countries involved in these unions will begin to look the same, look similar. You cannot help but look the same as another country that you share your economy with,
which
you share houses with, you share workplaces
do all
with.
the states look the same?
Oh yes, compared to I think our states now, we don't have 50 states. We have one union. And we've moved so much towards the federal we're so federalized. That the states begin to look more and more similar.
That's really hard for me to buy, because if you're on the East Coast, you know what state you're in a lot of the time, or at least what region you're in. New England looks different than other places.
Yeah, we're talking about a difference in their accent. I mean,
no, I'm talking about.
I can go get Chinese food in downtown here. I can go somewhere and get southern fried chicken. That's what's happening.
What exactly are you guys saying? Where's the rub here? What are the implications?
No, I just have a problem. I like diversity. I like being able to.
So you don't want to be able to get southern chicken downtown?
I think you probably see this as a result of global government. But I think if we had open markets and open borders, then the same thing would happen.
Yeah,
if people were able to move freely, now people are forced into this giant state, into the European Union. But if the countries were to, you have to protect your own identity, otherwise you become influenced by the people who are around you, and open borders produces the same thing. So I'm not quite sure where the rub is here, because yes, it's happening in a way that I wouldn't choose.
I don't want us to have one language. Anyway. I don't want to see one language, because the scriptures teach that there will be people from every tribe, nation, and tongue. If we have one nation one language,
so pre-Babel was bad?
What pre-Babel?
Before Babel.
Well, I'm not saying that was bad necessarily, but what I am saying is that what we should attempt to keep a diversity on the globe in terms of language and in terms of some culture. That doesn't mean we can't share culture. I'm just saying that when we begin to share it, it's not even about sharing culture. That's great. It's about really destroying culture and then creating one unified culture that has one language. And I would like to keep some amount of diversity. Have unity, but keep some amount of diversity.
This argument for me is hard to buy because it seems too big and sweeping. Because there's a lot more to culture than just the freaking coins you use and the people that are supposedly influencing the direction of your government. A huge one is language, which the EU hasn't erased yet. Another huge one, massive,
English. England is English.
I don't know if that's the EU or just the fact that, but I mean, the EU didn't go. I mean, England, the only country over there that speaks English, isn't even in the EU.
Well, yeah, but the United Nations, and it's not just the EU, but it goes back to the United Nations and before that, have been proposing. English has been I guess you call it the modern trade language for a long time.
Well, yeah, and that's not necessarily
and that's
the fault
fine.
of
I don't
the
have
EU.
a problem with that. It's just so long as we're not talking about people in France saying, and this has happened in France actually. You have at one time you had a divergence in languages not so long ago, and now you don't. And so that's where.
But see, France is still going to hang on to their culture.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they do, I'm fine
France
with
refuses to use the word email. It's like legislated by their government.
they have
their
a government
own
branch that keeps the integrity of their language so that they can preserve a separate culture.
Well, yeah.
And my sister lives in Italy right now, and she can't get around with English. She has to use.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm
he's,
saying that's
he's
good.
just making broad, overreaching generalizations.
Right,
no, I'm not.
I'm not. This is a 1 minute warning, by the way. So maybe final thought.
I'm just saying that citizens in America are being, I guess, retracted by the
people who
diversity
emigrated
in Europe, but they might just be losing their diversity if they're not careful when they start to unionize together. And that's all I'm saying.
My point was, as long as they have the architecture, as long as they have France being buttholes about their language,
then
everything's fine.
Then they're good. Yeah. Well, they might be. That's great.
I think we have our own culture in this town that's different from the towns around us. So.
Sure. Oh, yeah. It's hard to lose your culture. It's not easy. We just need to be careful.
Thanks for watching Flack. Visit us online at Klaxn.com, KLAXN.com.
Austin can spell.
That was awesome. That was great. Okay.
That was weird. I'll have to watch it.
I got a little hopped up.
That was rad, dude. Chris, I liked it.
I didn't understand what the point of the argument was.
Took me to task. Hi, I'm Adam.
I'm Austin.
And I'm Chris.
And you're watching Flack with U.S. in an economic slump, citizens in EU... I totally messed that up. Let's do that again. Sorry.
All right. We're still at 2 minutes. Go.
Hi, I'm Adam.
I'm Austin.
And I'm Chris.
And you're watching Flack with the U.S. in a slump, dual citizenship in EU countries attracts some... Sorry, I totally messed that up again. Let me do this one more time. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, no, what are you going to say?
Adam has brain damage. Go.
Thanks, Chris.
Say it in your own words there.
That's what I'm going to do.
Go for it.